Hello everybody, here today looking at these elm. These are, if you watched the previous videos, collected from the roadside. Literally they had suckered out from the hedge into the gravel on the side of the road, and I was able literally to sort of pluck them out with two fingers almost, just hold the stem and pick them out of the gravel and cut them off and bring them home. So they were grown in a couple of pots to begin with, and then I thought I'd try and style them. It hasn't gone as well as I had hoped, although the trees have continued to grow healthily enough. We've had some dieback in places. Let me just zoom you in. Had a bit of dieback in places. This branch died back, and so I'm going to remove this wire today and then look at retrimming this tree. Obviously removing the dead bits. I prefer to, well, if you're a subscriber you'll know I've said this many times, I prefer to reuse my wire if I can. It's not because I don't have any or don't have enough, but I just don't see the point in wasting it. Someone asked me where I got my wire from, and I just did a search on eBay for job lot bonsai wire, and I bought 2 sets of rolls of wire, ranging from this thick, I think that's 3mm aluminium wire in various stages, down to 1mm aluminium wire, big rolls, and I bought those about 10 years ago, and I haven't even opened the second packet yet. I keep using the first one over and over again. So it wasn't all that expensive buying it that way. I know it can be quite expensive if you buy the little packets you see in garden centres and things, but no, do a search for job lot of anything, and you're more likely to get a bargain. Okay, so that's the wire removed. As you can see, the tree is bushing out, which was good because it was very two-dimensional along this plane, but a bit going into the wrong ways really. So whilst it's young and easy to maneuver like this, I'm just going to chop it back a little. Okay, so I'm going to cut it back. As you can see, it has grown very healthily, but I would like some more bushy growth, so I'm going to chop it back to around there. And there, and there. So that's brought it back into some sort of semblance of order. I'm going to remove these dead pieces, obviously. Like so. As I say, these were just literally on a country lane just up the road from here. I was taking Coop out for his daily walk, and saw that these trees had suckered into the gravel on the side of the road. It's quite a thick layer of gravel because of the way they do things, and the trees had literally come out of the little bit of grass verge and popped their heads up in the gravel, and I was able to literally pull them out. So you just need to keep your eyes open sometimes, and surprising what you might find. I'm going to put a little bit of wire on these two pieces. Just want to bring that down slightly and this up slightly, so we will do that. Okay, so I don't need a huge piece of wire. I think this will do the job. I don't need to put a lot of movement into this. Questioning now, we're putting it on whether it'll do for the larger branch, but it should do for the smaller one. It's always good to wire two branches at the same time if you can. Just put a little bit of a bend in there so it's not dead straight. To keep an eye that doesn't cut in, but I'm actually going to shorten both of these like so. Okay, so that's just giving it a little bit of movement and change the direction. Similarly here, I don't like the way this branch is coming across. It's also coming out right from the shoulder of where this branch is growing out of the tree. Well, you can see that. Yeah, it's just in there, so I'm going to remove that. Okay, and obviously these branches are going to need a thicker piece of wire, but I do want to, although I like the three-dimensional, obviously, I just think these seem to stick out at too great an angle. You can see it clearer here. It just almost are right angles to each other, so yeah, gonna get me a thicker bit of wire. Yeah, so as I was saying, you know, you do a search for job lot of anything, you'll get big rolls. But I think this will do the job. This is about 1.5mm, I believe. Just eyeballing it. Let's remove that dead piece quickly. That's just going to get in the way. How well suited are these trees to being bonsai? I have no idea, but you don't watch my videos for ideas, I don't suppose. Okay, being careful not to pinch any of the leaves, and then I'm just going to bring these in, give them a little bit of movement. Something like that. And again, I'm just going to shorten these off slightly. And I'm also going to shorten this piece at the top very slightly. I don't want these two branches to be too similar looking. And you do want a little bit of movement so you can see one through the other. But yeah, I think that's quite enough work on this one for today. Going to allow it to keep growing on. This piece at the back here, I'm just going to leave, although it's coming out quite close to the trunk, I'm going to leave it for now. It may come off at a later date. Okay, so I know that looks a little bit like I've butchered it, but I think it's just given it a head start now really for future design works. Got some major branches in place in ways that, you know, appeal to my eye, and a canopy can be built up from that. So I'm going to leave this little branch here at the back to grow out. I'm not sure whether it'll stay in any kind of long-term situation, but you can always cut a branch off later if it's in the wrong place. You can't put them back again once you've cut them off. And although people will tell you, oh well, you know, trim it back, get some back bud in that area, you'll be fine. Trees back bud where they want to back bud. They don't back bud necessarily where you want one or need one. So yeah, so we'll look at tree number 2. Okay, so let's give you a quick 360 of this one. That's some interesting movement, I think. Bit straight in this plane, but you can have everything. Okay, so same deal with this one, plucked from the gravel on the side of the road, grown on for a bit, and then finally went into this training bonsai pot last year. Was it this year? Oh, do you know, I don't remember. Shocking, but there you go, it's the truth. Yeah, it's doing well, it's growing out quite nicely, quite healthily. I'm going to take the wire off, and I think it's set now, so I don't want this to cut in. The problem is it's put on a lot of growth around the wire, which is, I don't want to damage it too much. Come on, there we go. That's it. Once you loosen it, it'll come away quite reasonably well. Now this tree hasn't settled in its pot as well as the last one. It's a little bit wobbly, so, but that's okay. It's a healthy little tree, and elms are prolific with their rooting, so I'm fairly sure that this one will fill this pot relatively quickly. Okay, so I want this branch to come up, so I'm going to start my wire under. I'm just going to loop round to anchor it to the trunk. That branch there is trying to get in the way. Okay, so I'm going to bring that into an upward and then outward slightly. As I say, it may not get used in a later composition. If you're new, and hit that subscribe button, as they say. This tree will be in a playlist, and you'll be able to follow it from Well, now until I can't do it any longer. I'm going to trim that one off, and I'm going to trim that one, and trim that one back some more, but I'm actually going to leave this piece to grow and fatten up. For the rest of this year. Obviously I have to keep an eye that this wire doesn't bite in, as this will thicken quite quickly, and bring that forward a bit. We'll see how this goes over the years for scale, and we'll give you a quick 360. Thank you all for watching in these troubled times. Please look after yourselves. Stay safe.